Hello mga ka-RAMPAge! Welcome back to my channel. And this is Joie once again. Shout out po sa mga subscribers natin sa Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Especially kay Thelms Alba Mondoy. And today's video is the second part of our Nepal adventure. And before we proceed, sa mga hindi pa po nakasubscribe sa channel ko, please do subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga video na i-upload ko. And don't forget na rin po to like and share the video. Also, feel free to write down your comments. Let's RAMPAge! Home to majestic Mount Everest and one of the few countries in the world never to have been colonized. This breathtaking country covers diverse landscapes from the Himalayan mountains in the north to the flat, expansive plains in the south. Deep gorges, towering mountains, vibrant culture and charismatic people, Nepal is the ideal destination for adventurers and culture vultures. My day started very early as we need to catch up the sunrise at the Sarangkot Viewpoint. There are many viewpoints in Nepal, but none of them match the allure and beauty of the Sarangkot Viewpoint. Sarangkot is an amazing hill station and is the most popular tourist destination. From Pokhara, it could be reached easily by a 35 to 40 minutes car ride to the top and then 40 minutes hike up to the main viewpoint. Tourists can enjoy the magnificent view of the mountains such as Annapurna Massif, Mount Makapukre, Dhaulagiri Range, Manalu, and the great view of Pokhara Valley. Sarangkot is only 5 kilometers from lakeside from Pokhara and the highest viewpoint at 1,592 meters high for sunrise and sunset view over the snowy peaks. The beauty of Sarangkot is best witnessed in the morning when there is still morning fog. To enter the Sarangkot viewpoint, you must pay certain fees for the permit and there is a slight difference in pricing for the Nepal and non-Nepal citizens. World Peace Pagoda is a Buddhist stupa to provide a focus for people of all races and creeds and to help unite them in their search for world peace. Located on Anadu Hill in the district of Kaski, World Peace Pagoda, otherwise known as Pokhara Shanti Stupa, is an impressive gleaming white pagoda, one of the world's greatest stupa constructed by Japanese Buddhists at a cost of $1 million. The shining golden statue reflects the Buddha in the posture he assumed when he was born. The White Pagoda has two tires for tourists and religious visitors to circumambulate. The second tier displays 4 statues of the Buddha presented as souvenir from different countries. Each statue represents important events related to Buddha and were named according to where they took place. Situated at the height of 1,100 meters, Nichidatu Fuji laid the foundation stone along with relics of the Buddha on 12 September 1973, and the structure provides a panoramic view of the Annapurna Range, Pokhara City, and Phewa Lake. Shanti Stupa adds beauty to the Pokhara Valley. It is a perfect holiday place, providing a splendid view of sunrise and sunset. Next are itineraries caving, a recreational, cultural, and ecological pastime of exploring the cave, and in the list, we will be visiting 3 caves. Mahendra Cave is a large cave located in the city of Pokhara in the western region of Nepal. It is about 1,100 meters above sea level and has formed in young limestones which overlaid by conglomerates. This cave was discovered in the late 1950s by young shepherds of Pokhara and gets its name from former King Mahendra Bir Bikram Shah Dev. The cave corridors are completely dark with continuously dripping water overhead. The cave consists of about 100 meters of easily accessible passage provided with artificial lighting, and further with 100 meters of low, unstable corridors entered by way of a collapsed passage which only perhaps half a meter high. The Gupteshwar Mahadev Cave, known in the local tongue as Bhalo Dulo, is recognized as one of the longest caves in Nepal with a length that exceeds 2,000 meters. The cave sits across Devi's Fall, and inside the cave, you can hear the thundering sound of water. As per the local beliefs, the cave was said to be discovered in the 16th century. This cave is a popular pilgrimage site in Nepal, and there is a huge crowd during festivals like Chaiti Dashain and Maha Shivarati. As you head down on a spiral staircase, you can see plastered artworks, which some say tend to go on the erotic side. As you make your way through the cave, the first thing you'll notice is how dark it is. There is a lighting facility available, but it does not give enough power to observe the entire surroundings. As you make your way to the inner parts of the cave, you can see small shrines which are dedicated to Lord Shiva. The main cave is divided into two chambers, in which the second section is closed during the monsoon season in order to prevent people from drowning from the high water levels. To see and observe the waterfall, you need to walk through an uneven rocks. As you descend through the stairs, the first thing you'll see is a cow shed, and when you look closer, you can see the cow standing above a Shiva linga. It conveys a message that the cow is protecting Lord Shiva. From the temple, the trail leads to the second chamber. This part is 140 meters in length. The wall becomes much more revealing here, and you can see even the nice colors which decorates the cave walls. The Bat Cave or Chamari Gufa in local dialect is a solutional cave located in the Kaski district and is a 10-kilometer walk from the famous Mahadev Cave. The cave has one entrance and one exit. The exit is narrower than the entrance and needs climbing. The indigenous belief is that only those who have not sinned should pass the exit hole. The cave has shapes and structures and carvings on the wall of the Hindu deities, which are worshipped and followed by the locals. As the name suggests, this cave is swamped with horseshoe bats inside the cave, over the walls and ceilings, every point of the day. It's certainly a unique experience when you stand in the middle of the cave and look up to find the ceiling overflowing with bats. It is much like seeing black stars on the strong colored sky. The International Mountain Museum in Pokhara, opened in 2004, focused on Nepali mountains and Himalayas with a wing dedicated to Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, who first summited Everest in 1953. On a clear day, visitors will have a wonderful view of the Annapurna mountain range in the northwest, quite appropriate backdrop for the museum. From a presentation of the world's highest peaks to an exhibition of Everest climbers' gear, this modern museum offers everything you need to know about mountains and the history of mountaineering. This expansive museum is devoted to the mountains of Nepal, the mountaineers who climb them, and the people who call them home. You can see original gear from the many of the first Himalayan ascents, as well as displays on the history, culture, geology, flora and fauna of the Himalayan. Furthermore, exhibits of famous mountaineers, the culture and lifestyle of mountain people is an attempt to represent the traditional culture and values of the Nepalese. The following day started again very early, as I need to catch up the bus going to Chitwan, Sauraha for the much anticipated Chitwan Safari. Tourist buses are most recommended mode of transportation once you want to do the road adventure from Pokhara to Chitwan. Local buses are as well available, but are generally uncomfortable and not as safe as tourist buses. Getting to Chitwan Sauraha was a day spent with bumpy roads, rest stops, roadside food, and the unexpected toilets, which generally accompany road trips through the countryside. With the steep forest, covered hills, and farming villages, driving through the hilly ranges makes the trip scenic. Chitwan Gaida Lodge has been my home away from home in Chitwan. This smoke-free lodge features a restaurant, a bar, and a conference center. All the 35 soundproof rooms features free Wi-Fi and room service. The best thing about this lodge is that it is within a short walk away to the Chitwan National Park, which is very convenient. Chitwan National Park, established in 1973, was Nepal's first national park and granted the status of the World Heritage Site in 1984. Located in the southern central Terai of Nepal, It formerly extends over the foothills of India and Nepal. The property covers an area of 93,200 hectares, extends over 4 districts: Chitwan, Nawalparasi, Parsa, and Makwanpur. The park is the last surviving natural ecosystem of Terai region and covers subtropical lowlands wedged between two east-west river valleys at the base of the Sivalik Range. The spectacular landscape, covered with lush vegetations and the Himalayas as the backdrop, makes the park an area of exceptional natural beauty. Exceptionally high in species diversity, the park harbors 31% of mammals, 61% of birds, 34% of amphibians and reptiles, and 65% of fishes recorded in Nepal. The ecological integrity of the park is further enhanced by the adjoining Parsa Wildlife Reserve to its eastern boundary and the designation of the buffer zone around the park. Situated in a river valley basin and characterized by steep cliffs on the south-facing slopes and a mosaic of riverine forest and grasslands along the river banks of the natural landscape, makes the property amongst the most visited tourist destination of its kind in the region. The forested hills and changing river landscapes serve to make Chitwan one of the most stunning and attractive parts of Nepal's lowlands. Chitwan showcases another side of Nepal, where the landscape and culture are completely different from what you'll find in the Himalayas. This will be the last night of my stay in Chitwan. To experience eating on the open-air restaurants on the river banks and to taste the delicious buffalo barbecue, my tour guide and I took our dinner at the Nature View restaurant in Sauraha. Chitwan to Kathmandu road trip offers the scenic and artistic beauty of Nepal. The distance is approximately 175 kilometers and the travel time ranges from 5 to 6 hours. Throughout the trip, your eyes will enjoy the beautiful greenery view, diverse riverside ways, forests, and the lush green hills and mountains. It was already past 9 in the evening when I reached Kathmandu, and I headed right away to the lodging house for the much needed rest. On the following day, I got up so early as this is my last chance to take a glimpse of Kathmandu, as later tonight I will be flying out of Nepal. Without a tour guide, I spent half of the day exploring the Kathmandu Valley, particularly the World's Heritage Site. Kathmandu has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other city in the world. 7 internationally recognized cultural treasures at the city and its satellite towns, making it a place that's more than just a gateway to the trekking trails of the Himalayas. Located in the foothills of the Himalayas, the Kathmandu Valley World Heritage Property is inscribed as 7 monument zones. Kathmandu Valley is the perfect place to get introduced to Nepal culture. The valley has remained the center of social, cultural, and economic power since bygone days. Befitting a city that's a melange of religions, Kathmandu's most striking World Heritage Site represents different faiths, Hinduism and Buddhism. Kathmandu Durbar Square is the site of the Hanuman Dhaka Palace Complex, which was the royal Nepalese residence until the 19th century. The Durbar Square held the palaces of Malla and Shah kings who ruled over the city. Along with these palaces, the square surrounds quadrangles, revealing courtyards and temples. The square is still the center of important events. Swayambunath Stupa is perhaps the perfect location to observe the religious harmony in Nepal. This stupa is one of the crowning glories of Kathmandu Valley. This perfectly proportioned monument rises through a whitewashed dome to a gilded spire, from where 4 iconic faces of the Buddha stare out across the valley in the cardinal directions. Swayambunath Stupa is also known as the Monkey Temple because of the presence of a massive number of monkeys around the temple. In the company of the resident monkeys, you'll catch the brightly dressed holy men or sadhu happily posing for pictures in exchange for a few coins. The sadhu offers as well the so-called tika, a red powder used by Hindus in various practices. Sometimes it is just a dry powder and sometimes it's a wet, sticky mixed with rice. Tika is one of the important auguring good luck items in religious and cultural rituals of Nepal, especially in Hindu families. Pashupatinath Temple is a famous and sacred Hindu temple complex that is located on the banks of Bagmati River. The extensive Hindu temple precinct is a sprawling collection of temples, ashrams, images, and inscriptions raised over the centuries along the banks of the sacred Bagmati River. Pashupatinath Temple honors the Hindu lord Shiva. Shiva is the god of transformation or destruction and conforms to Hindus' beliefs in karma and reincarnation. The temple and the ground it's built on are so sacred that only Hindus may enter. This applies to travelers too, so you'll be respectfully asked to watch the proceedings from the banks on the opposite side of the river. The sacred Bagmati River runs through the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal and separates Kathmandu from Patan. The importance of Bagmati River also lies in the fact that Hindus are cremated on the banks of this holy river and Kirans are buried in the hills by its side. According to the Nepalese Hindu tradition, the dead body must be dipped 5 times into the river before cremation so that the reincarnation cycle may be ended. The chief mourner, usually the first son who lights the funeral pyre, must take a holy river water bath immediately after the cremation. There is something uniquely peaceful about the place despite the morbid overtones. Perhaps it's something to do with the way the Hindus view death as rebirth and not the end. But whatever your beliefs, a trip to Pashupatinath helps to dissolve cultural barriers by presenting to us the one truth that we all must inevitably experience. Nepal is known as the land of the impressive mountains, snowy peaks, and incredible landscapes. Home to the world's highest peak, Nepal thrives on tourism, and it's no wonder that the great Himalayan ranges are what brings most tourists to Nepal. Of all the countries located in South Asia, Nepal is perhaps the most incredible to visit. From breathtaking terrain that practically begs to be explored, to friendly, colorful locals who are eager to share their culture and traditions to visitors, a trip to this exotic land is sure to entice, excite, and inspire even the most intrepid traveler. Nepal is the country that has culture, adventure, and adrenaline rolled into one.